Robert Burns, Winter, a Dirge. The wintry west extends his blast, and hail and rain does blow o'er the stormy north, and driving forth the blinding sleet and snow, while tumbling brown the burn comes down, and roars frae bank to brae, and burdened beast in covered rest, and pass the heartless day. The sweeping blast the sky overcast, the joyless winter day, let others fear, to me more dear than all the pride of May. The tempest's howl, it soothes my soul, my griefs it seems to join. The leafless trees my fancy please, their fate resembles mine. Thy power supreme, whose mighty scheme these woes of mine fulfill, here for my rest they must be best, because they are thy will. Then all I want, oh do thou grant this one request of mine, since to enjoy thou dost deny, assist me to resign. Edgar Allan Poe, The Valley of Unrest. Once it smiled a silent dell, where the people did not dwell. They had gone unto the wars, trusting to the mild-eyed stars, nightly from their azure towers, to keep watch above the flowers, in the midst of which all day the red sunlight lazily lay. Now each visitor shall confess the sad valley's restlessness. Nothing there is motionless, nothing save the airs that brood over the magic solitude. Ah, by no wind are stirred those trees that palpitate like the chill seas around the misty Hebrides. Ah, by no wind those clouds are driven that rustle through the unquiet heaven uneasily from morn till even. Over the violets there that lie in myriad types of human eye, over the lilies there that wave and weep above a nameless grave, they wave from out their fragrant tops. Eternal dews come down in drops. They weep from off their delicate stems. Perennial tears descend in gems. Robert Burns, The Wounded Hare. Inhuman man, curse on thy barbarous art, and blasted by thy murder-aiming eye, may never pity soothe thee with a sigh, nor never pleasure glad thy cruel heart. Go live, poor wanderer of the wood and field, the bitter little of life that remains. No more the thickening brakes and verdant plains to thee shall home or food or pastime yield. Seek, mangled wretch, some place of wonted rest. No more of rest, but now of dying bed. The sheltering rushes whistling over thy head, the cold earth with thy bloody bosom crest. Oft as by winding night I, musing, wait the sober eve, or hail the cheerful dawn, I'll miss thee sporting over the dewy lawn, and curse the ruffian's aim, and mourn thy hapless fate. Edgar Allan Poe, Dream Within a Dream. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow, you are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away in a night or in a day, in a vision or in a none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep. While I weep, oh God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? And now for something lighter. From Robert Burns, To a Louse. Ha, where ye gone, ye crowlin' furly? Your impudence protects you sorely. I canna say but ye strunt rarely o'er guise and lace, though faith, I fear ye dinna but sparely on sicker place. Ye ugly creeping blasted wanner, detested shunned by son and sinner. How dare ye set your fit upon her, say a fine lady? Get somewhere else and seek a dinner on some poor body. Swith, in some beggar's hoffet squattle, there ye may creep and sprawl and spruttle with her kindred chumping cattle, in shoaling nations where horn nor bane ne'er dour unsettle your thick plantations. Now hold you there, ye out of sight, below the factories snug and tight. Nah, faith ye yet, you'll no be right till ye've got on it the verrat of most towering height, oh Mrs. Bonnet. My sooth I bold ye set your nose out, as plump and grey and ony grosset, all for some rank mercurial rosset, or fell red smedden, a gie ye sick a hearty does out. What does yer drodum? I wadna been surprised to spy you on an old wise fleeing toy, or abling some dit dubby boy, onst wily code, but Mrs. Fine Lunardi, fie! How dare ye do it? O Jeannie, dinna toss your head and set your beauties abread. Ye little ken what cursed speed the blast is making. Thy winks and finger ends, I dread, are notice taking. Oh, what some power the gift to gie us, to see ourselves as either see us. It what frae money a blunder free us, and foolish notion. What airs in dress and gait, what leases us, and even devotion. Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, only this and nothing more. Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished to the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books such seas of sorrow. Sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," I said, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with a mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevance bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as nevermore. But the raven sitting lonely on the placid bust spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour, nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will leave me as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock in store, caught from some unhappy master, from unmerciful disaster, followed fast and followed faster, till his song one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking that this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat, engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated over, but whose velvet violet lining, with the lamplight gloating over, she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim, whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, but these angels he hath sent thee. Respite, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within a distant Aden it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels named Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight over him streaming throws its shadow on the floor. and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.